Dovid, so Dovid, Avdi, Nasi lehem la'ilam, and Dovid, my servant, will be the Nasi forever. Referring to Mashiach. In the Pasuk Zer, after the Pashas Vigash. This is a Pasuk from after the Pashas Vigash. Tzarich lahav in the Lachur, Hashayach is after the La Parsha, Hibazer. Why is this after chosen for Pashas Vigash? Because Hatechan the Shneim, the content of both of them, Uchibu Yehuda veYosef, is the connection between Yehuda and Yosef. That's all. It's a Parasha Vigash of Yehuda. Parsha begins with Yehuda approaching Yosef. After the Nema, after this, as David says to Yechezkel, Kach lecha etz echad, take one branch and write on the kosev of Yehuda, leYehuda unto Yehuda, and so on. Then v'lakach rather, etz echad, the kosev of Yosef. Take another branch, Hashem tells Yechezkel, and write on it unto Yosef, representing the northern 10 tribes that were invaded, and I think this is after they were already exiled. The Kor of Oisam Echad al Echad. No, they weren't. They were just the division. And bring them, the two branches together, and they'll become one in your hand. So that is a Nevuah, that Vasisi Oisam Bagay Echad, that in the future there will be one people, no longer divided. Melech Echad L'Kulam, and one king. And who will that be? From Shevet Yehuda, from the southern kingdom, Abdi Dovid. So the question is, okay, that's the general connection between the Haftarah and the Parasha. But the Shayla is the Proti is Bagoshes Yehuda Yosef, in the approach of Yehuda to Yosef, the Parasha and the Parasha, Mudgish Yosef, Vayanayli Yosef Yehud. Here in the Parasha Yehuda, Yosef is the leader. Hein Bagosha Atzma, both in the approach, Shalizesh Yehuda Nigish Yosef. Why was Yehuda approaching him? And he showed you Zakuk Elov, he needed him. Shachar is Binyamin, that Yosef should free Binyamin. Then when he approaches him and speaks, there too. He said, please my Lord, may I speak before you, and he pleads for the release of Binyamin. To the extent, not only is Yosef above him, but Yosef is the Melech of all of them, Kalil Yehuda, including Yehuda. And yet, in contrast to the Haftarah, it's not that way. Haftarah Nema, Abdi Dovid Melech Aleim. In the Haftarah, who is the leader? Not Yosef, but Dovid. Dovid Abdi, and then the Haftarah continues with Dovid Abdi, Nasi Lehem La'ilam. And Dovid, my servant, will be their leader, the prince forever. So here's an inconsistency. In the Parasha, Yosef is uppermost, and in the Haftarah, it's Yehuda. And yet, the Parasha Vigash, since it was these psukim that were chosen to be the Haftarah for Parasha Vigash, mashma, the inference is that this inyan, Ma'ila Yehuda legabe Yosef, the Ma'ila Yehuda over Yosef, Yeshta Beremez is hinted, at least, Gam Vigash Elav Yehuda, even as Yehuda approaches. But in the Parasha, Ma'ila Yehuda legabe Yosef Beremez, or Behelim. Here in the Parasha, the Ma'ila Yehuda is only hinted to and concealed. What's seen openly in the Parasha is the Ma'ila of Yosef over Yehuda. However, it's revealed. However, since everything Torah is perfectly connected, so it must be that Beremes, at least, even Yehuda has the upper hand. Okay, Ois base. This inyan that Yehuda's approach already behelim in a concealed way. Yehuda's superiority is present. Over Yosef is present. The Yehuda can be seen also from Torah to the Alter Rebbe on this mind, on these words. Who writes? The reason Beis Hamikdash was made dafka from inanimate things. The loikam mishkan, unlike the mishkan, sheraka karka mishkan may offer. Only the Mishkan, the ground was made of earth, doimim. Aval keista Mishkan mitzemech, but the walls are made of wood, which is the plant. And the coverings were from the tapestries and the hides were from animals. Actually, in ascending order, from the bottom up, high forms of life. Why the difference? So the Shaila is the opposite. So why is the Beis Hamikdash, which is holier than the Mishkan, is made from a lower form of existence? Answer. Because the Doimim is lower than Tzemeach HaPisei D'Shtalshalos. It's only the way things manifest in the system. And the root, the source of the inanimate, is higher than the source of growing of plant life and living things. In brackets, Like Shamayim Hillel was created first. And the Shammai says Shamayim is created first. And Hillel says the Oretz was created first. So the Rebbe's Masbir, which we're learning on Sunday morning, there's a machlekes. The Bishavas Bepeil, Shamayim, Kodma, they both agree. In terms of actual process of creation, heaven precedes. And this world exists at the bottom of the ladder. However, in this source, even the Oretz is lower. In this source, Machshava Eretz Kodma. That's Hillel. The uppermost kavana is Eretz. Hashem wants to do it b'tachtonim. He only made a heaven because he wants an earth, not the other way around. The fact that it emerges at the end, the world, physical universe, indicates that machshavi kadma l'shamayim. In terms of Hashem's intent, it precedes Shamayim. As we say in L'Chadaydi, the Seif Maaseh Machshava Tchila, the final act is in the uppermost original thought, referring to Shabbos. So that's what he says in Torah, that the reason the Beis Hamikdash is made of doimim is because it's higher. The Shodesh is higher. Now, likewise, they can make it a Bezal Malchos, likewise, Zal Malchos. Sheheim Bedugmas Tzemech V'doimim. So Zoh is like plant life, and Malchus is like doimim. What's the analogy? Zoh is midas, and midas are constantly in a state of flux and growth, whereas Malchus is speech, or even action, but speech is doimim. A word is just a single, it's a sound. So it's invested in the word that gives it its life, but the word itself is inanimate. It contains by association, by societal association, a meaning. But the meaning is in the word. The word's a container. It's a dead object, as it were. Whereas in midas, atzimeach, that's where life is within the person. So likewise, l'mayla, that zoh malchus bedugmas tzimim, tzimech and doimim, shebeseder shtalshalos, in seder shtalshalos, zoh l'mayla mi malchus. Zoh is higher and mashpia. Aber b'shorsham in the shorish in higher than Atzilus, shorish Malchus or L'mayla Shorish Hazeh. Malchus is rooted deeper in Pnimius HaKeser and so on, higher than the source of Zoh. And that's why V'lechein L'ased Lovei Tia Malchus L'mayla Mizal L'ased Lovei, when the shorish is revealed, so Malchus will be higher. This is the teichon of your Chassid Maimed, yeah. Eishes Chayil, Yudalit Kislev. Eishes Chayil Ateres Bailo. As the pasuk says, the woman of virtue is the crown of a husband, meaning that Malchus, the source of Malchus, is higher than the husband who is male, who's the mashpia, who's Zoh. Then will be revealed the Shorish, high in the source of Zoh. So now going back to the Mishkan and Migdash, so the Mishkan, the walls and the roof were made from plant life and animal life. Beis Hamikdash called them doimim, and the whole thing Beis Hamikdash was stone. The Mishkan was only temporary revelation, not the etzem. Like if you say the ishtalshalos, reflect the ishtalshalos. So the lower part of the Mishkan was doimim, the lowest level of ishtalshalos, the inanimate. Then the walls, the walls are made of a higher form of life, wood, plant life. The Gaga Mishkan Mechai, and ultimately was with the hide, the tapestry from the, first there was tapestry, but on top of it, the very top layer was the Chai, the animal, the first ram.
The hide?
The tachash. The very top one was the tachash. Below that was the ram skin. Can we say the ishtalshalis? In ishtalshalis, say me'echol amaylim b'doimim, b'chai. Echol amaylim b'doimim, b'chai l'amaylim gam b'tzemeach. That's how that's how the Mishkan was. So the highest forms of life are on top. The Mikdash was as permanent. Dira, was similar to where it's going to be lost in love. Shosti Malchus, Daimim, Mikol Asviris, Malchus will be higher. I feel like Gag with Daimim, even the roof was made of Daimim. So Nach was out there, has been a Gala Yosef Yehuda, Lak was Yosef Yehuda. Yosef is the Indian of Yisoid. That's his Indian, Mashpia. That's why he's tested, particularly in that area, in the Gashmatic counterpart of Sfiris HaYisoid. That was his Nisoya. But Yehuda was Malchus. And Yehuda is in of Malchus. Dovid gave him Malchus. And not Dovid, Yaakov. So that explains everything. Now Yosef is higher than Yehuda. Who can we say? Malchus. So is higher. In brackets, that's why Yehuda approaches, please my master, the Pirish Biadini, who, what's Biadini? Who is the Primus Dikatach? Should be Yehuda be, he's saying, within me should be Adoni, Yumshach Hashem, and Yosef Atzadik Adoni. That Yosef should mashpia in him, in Malchus. Malchus receives the divine influence, the divine flow from Zoh. Lost lover, whoever lost lover, this is after shows his God, the Shverish Malchus, the Shverish Malchus will be revealed. Shulamalim Shverish Zoh. So there, after it says, Yev Avdi Dovid Melech Aleh. Dovid and Melech will be the Melech. So now the question, B'tzadich B'ir, the Kivin Shin, Viegsh Yehuda, Shir Yosef Zog, Tzimech, Olamayim Yehuda, since Yehuda approaches Yosef, because Yosef is higher, because he's and Tzimech, and Yehuda is Malchus and Daimim, Hariba Maimon Shas Chalosi. It's an interesting question. The Maim of the Alter Rebbe, which we just quoted now, Shas Chalosi, Viegsh Yehuda, who begins to explain. The Maim is to explain Viegsh Yehuda. So what does he say in the Maim? Right away, he talks about the Maila. At the very beginning of the Maimon, the Maila of Yehuda over Yosef, the Maila of the Beis Hamikdash over the Mishkan. So the Rebbe Shaili is Ein in Yoni L'Chayra. Here, and that this Maimon wants to explain the other way. That first, you have to explain the Maila of Yosef over Yehuda. So it's, the thing is not the Vayda Tamas Beis Hamikdash and Doimim to bring out the Maila of the Beis Hamikdash that is Doimim at the very beginning when he's explaining ostensibly the Maila of what of Yosef over Yehuda. Questions clear? That's the Haftarah in him. But the Maimon is to explain the parasha first, at least. The fact that the Maimon which begins with the words Viegsh Yehuda, in other words, he's out to explain the parasha, not the Haftarah. The fact that the fact that he goes into right away, the fact the reason based on Yishas Midoimim, who the fish based on Yishas made them have because based on Mikdash is similar to Lasad Lava, Shasti Malchus Doim Milamalim Mikol Asviris, that Malchus will be hiding all the Sviris Muchach. We have to conclude the point said at the beginning of our Maimon, namely, that Gam should be Giloi, even though in a revealed way. Even the Begoloi and in the Parsha Zoh is higher. Yeshbay, if you look here, however, in this story itself, Viegsh Yehuda, as Yehuda approaches him, but Pnimis Ubehelim. What's going on with Pnimis, however, is the opposite. Hamale de Malchus Lagab Yezor. The Maila of Yehuda, of Malchus of Doimim, is similar to the future. And that's why the Alter Rebbe right away in explaining the Viegsh Yehuda right away brings this Inyan, because really it's there as well to be explained in the Maimon following. Just I want to look at the other 11. We learned that this Maimon refers to. Look at order 11. The Master Vigash Tufshamet Vav in the Maimon Vayigash Lamed Vav, which is also Muga, the next Maimon here. Okay, we'll leave this order for tomorrow. There, Itak explains in answering this question the opposite. That in the end there's a mile to Yosef. In the end there's a mile of Yosef over you, the evil Asad of it. Okay, we'll address that tomorrow. Be'ez Hashem. Yeah, so tomorrow the shir is 8:30.